Hi, it's Caleb.
And I'm Tori.
And welcome to our podcast, Uncork and Listen. If this is your first time listening, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. If you do enjoy this podcast, please subscribe to our YouTube channel or on Spotify, whatever platform you're listening on. Also, go ahead and follow us on Instagram. This will all be in our channel description. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our channel. We're back with another episode.
All right. So today we will be uncorking a bottle of Winking Owl Chardonnay.
Wink.
Wink, wink. Which is I think it's a specific Aldi brand.
Okay.
I actually don't know if you can get this brand anywhere else. I haven't noticed it. I think it is specific to Aldi.
Okay.
But
would that make it German?
A lot of stuff that they sell there is right. German.
That's always asking.
But when it comes to the wine, it specifically says that it's a California wine.
Oh, okay.
So
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I think it's native to the U.S.
Cool.
But anyway, this is a brand that Aldi carries. Okay. And it's very, very affordable.
Yeah.
Like a lot of their stuff. And I've had different types of wine from this brand. And I think it's, pretty good. But I have not tried the Chardonnay. So this will be new.
I'm excited. I haven't tried this one either.
Do you want to open it?
Let's do it. Okay.
And I am still, getting over the whole COVID thing. So if I sound all nasally,
right,
I'm sorry. It is what it is.
I mean, we actually recorded our previous episode recently, so
yeah, I'm still
in the recovery. So even though this is gonna come out later than the other one,
yeah.
So although we record our episodes very not like. I don't know. I guess it's a very similar way of recording podcasts or YouTube videos or whatever. Yeah. It's just, we kind of just record a bunch of stuff and then release it whenever we do.
Yeah.
So actually, I'm going to leave this screw off of this.
Okay. So would you like to cheers?
Let's go ahead and do that.
That was nice.
There we go. Ooh. Okay. That's real dry.
It is.
But I like it.
It definitely has that
Oaky. Is it oaky?
I actually wasn't going to say that. I was going to say with Chardonnays, in my experience, it has almost a buttery, smooth.
That's probably what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Not the oaky thing. Mm-hmm. I'm not really good with... We already said this already. I'm not really good with the tasting aspect of it. You seem to really have a better understanding of the taste of wines and stuff. I just drink wine and enjoy it.
It definitely...
You know what I'm saying?
It is a little dry, but it's also a bit sweet.
Is it?
I think so. I mean, not crazy sweet, when it comes to whites, but
It's not crazy sweet. Mm-hmm. I could drink this.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of both going on.
Yeah.
Would you like me to see what the bottle says?
Let's see. I will say the Winking Owl Chardonnay, it's not that tart.
No.
You agree with that?
I don't think when it comes to most Chardonnays, I don't think
That's true.
They're not very tart type wines.
Right.
But so the first thing, I'm not cheating. I just looked at it, but I'm not cheating because I thought it. I just didn't say it.
We know. We already know you're good at this stuff.
The first thing that I thought was apple. Tastes a little appley to me. And then it's actually interesting that you said a oaky type thing. Yeah. Because
is there oaky in it?
That's actually what the bottle says.
There's some oaky in it. Girl, maybe I am kind of... I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I'm understanding the different flavors and stuff.
Right, yeah.
Okay. All right.
So it says that there are subtle flavors of ripe apple, pear, toasted oak, and a hint of spice, which I actually can get because
I'm proud of myself.
It's there's a certain warmth to it,
right?
That I think makes sense. The hint of spice or whatever, and maybe even that's the toasted oak coming through a little bit too.
Yeah, true.
But it has that warm. If that makes any sense to you.
Yeah.
But it says there's a few other details. It's from California, obviously. It says that it's semi-dry.
Wow.
which makes sense because I feel like it's almost like an in-between-ish.
Right, but for me, when I took a sip of this at first, it just seemed very, very dry compared to other wines.
Yeah, probably, because I feel
I don't
like
know.
we haven't sampled that many dry wines yet at this point.
I mean, that's true, but I feel like I am more of a dry wine person anyway.
Yeah.
But a lot of the wine, now that I'm thinking about it, is more like on the tart side of things.
Right.
If that makes sense. Like,
yes.
a lot of the rosés I drink.
And like the Sauvignon
Blanc. And then like the
Blanc.
Sauvignon Blanc, like, those are just, I guess, more on the tart side.
Yes.
Because we do love a good Boda box.
Oh, yeah.
We love a good Boda box.
So,
yeah,
so it says that it's semi-dry and then medium-bodied, which I can get. It's not, like, super light. It kind of has some depth to it.
Yeah, it does.
You know?
It really does.
And it says if you want to pair it with food, it does best with grilled fish and roasted chicken.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Very much.
Yeah.
Salmon, maybe flounder.
Yeah.
Would be
like,
really good with this.
More of like a white fish.
Or maybe like shrimp lobster would be good with this too. Uh-huh.
Some Spanish mackerel maybe.
Yeah. Something,
I love
something light.
Yeah, yeah.
Something very light.
Like not heavy, yeah.
Nothing crazy heavy. Because
definitely.
White wines are not as heavy as red wine.
Right.
So you would pick like a chicken salad kind of thing.
Right.
Or...
Yeah.
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 And you can get this at Aldi.
Yes. Aldi, if you have one nearby.
If you have one nearby, if you live by an Aldi, this is where you can get it, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Also, we do have Lucy in the house, by the way. She is in town.
Yeah, she is.
She's sleeping right now. We were actually trying to like calm her down a little before we started the episode, but she is sleeping now.
Yeah.
So it kind of worked out.
Yes, it did.
Yep.
I'm very happy about that.
Right?
We'll see how it goes over the course of the episode.
Oh, look, she was playing and wanting to interact with us. We're like, oh Lord, how we're gonna calm her down,
girl.
Right. But she's doing good. She's sleeping.
Yeah, we
love her.
So, would you like to jump into the topic at hand?
Let's do it.
So today, we're sticking with kind of the Hollywood theme still, I would say.
Yep.
It is a little bit kind of like Hollywood history, but not in the same way that we've done in the past. So we had the idea that we wanted to discuss and compare different like original movies to their remakes.
Right.
When
because there's a lot of those.
There's a lot. Honestly.
A lot.
And
we can't talk about all of them, but we do have a few in mind that we want to talk about.
Yeah, we just selected a few that we will discuss, but there's obviously a ton of others. But these are the ones that we're both like really familiar with. So do you want to start with the first one?
First one.
We have
Footloose.
Yeah, we have Footloose.
Footloose. And I will say this, guys. I actually just watched... Okay, so... the original one with Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen that one, honestly, I'm very shocked. I feel like that one's just very, very popular in America and even other places as well. And some people don't realize that there is actually a remake of it. I could be wrong. I wasn't really introduced to it.
Yeah, I feel like for some reason it could have to do with marketing or something.
Really,
I don't know.
Probably. I mean, it's Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, I feel like they didn't maybe market the new one as much
as they could have.
Yeah, so it may not be as well known at this point. I'm not sure.
Right.
But the new one.
I watched the new one recently, you guys. Just so you're aware.
Yeah, I just had him watch it.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to get his opinion on it, comparing, to the original and all that. And it's. I don't know when the new one was made. I would guess like
2011.
Yeah, 2011, 2012.
It was around
maybe.
and this is so random for me to bring up Hunger Games, but I love Hunger Games and I love the movies. And I remember when those movies came out, I'm pretty sure it came out around that time.
Yeah.
I can look it up actually if you want.
Sure.
When did the first Footloose?
Not the first.
Oh, shoot. You're right. How about this? When did they make the renewed? Is that a word?
No, remake. What are you doing over there? Jeez, son.
The remake. Lord, remake of Footloose. Oh, Wow, okay. I guessed that right. It came out October 14th of 2011.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, cool.
I was guessing around there too. I was like 2011, maybe 2012.
Yeah, and it does have some the remake of Footloose. the new remake. So the remake of Footloose actually has some similar, some familiar
actors, like
I
their
guess
cast.
You could say. Yeah.
You wanna say who the cast is?
Yeah. So I'm just gonna name a few of them. I actually don't know the guy who played the main dude. I've never heard of that dude.
I haven't either.
But the ones that really stand out to me are Julian Hugh or Ho
or Huff.
Something like that. We all know who she is. She was on
Dancing with the Stars.
Dancing with the Stars with Derek, her brother.
She's a good dancer.
Oh, she is a great dancer.
Which makes sense why they would cast her for that.
Oh, movie. Yeah, it makes total sense. And I don't think I could be wrong, but I don't think I've ever seen her in a movie or a show. And she did acting wise.
I've seen her in some stuff. Oh, okay. Yeah.
See, I haven't.
She's not bad.
Yeah, I was very, very pleased with her acting skills.
Yeah.
I was very happy with them. But another familiar actor is Dennis Quaid. He's been in many, many movies.
He plays the dad /
Can I just say this? He always plays dads.
He does.
I don't know what it is with that.
He's just a good dad type actor, you know?
Yeah, so anyway, back to what we were saying. This movie came out in 2011. Mm-hmm. I have to say this.
Okay.
I personally, and this might be shocking to some people, but I am not a fan of the original one.
Yeah.
I'm really not.
I actually have a whole story.
Okay.
About when I first watched it and everything.
Excuse me.
So the first time that I watched, I think both actually. I think it was soon after the remake came out, and all the women in my family wanted to have kind of like a girls' night.
Oh yeah, see some cute little boys dancing.
Oh my god!
Why would you not?
So it was like
some
me,
hot boys on there.
So it was it was me and my sisters, my grandma, my aunt, my mom. So like all the women in my family.
Oh yeah.
So we wanted to kind of have like a what's the word where you watch a movie back to back, or a marathon,
right,
like a Footloose marathon.
Yeah, okay.
Because we, at least the young.
So you watched the original one first, and then you went to the theaters and saw the new one.
It was when it came out on DVD.
Oh.
So we all went over to my parents' house and had a little like girls' party.
Love it.
And we watched the original, and then we watched the new one, which none of us had seen the new one at that point, and all the younger people, like me and my sisters, hadn't seen the original,
the first one
yet.
Yeah.
But obviously, my grandma, my mom, my aunt, they had, because they were around when it came out, and it was like a big thing.
If they hadn't, I'd be shocked.
Yeah.
Seriously. It was a big movie at the time.
Yeah. And so, to keep that into perspective, they already were familiar, with the original and stuff like that.
Right.
And so we all watched the original, and honestly, I felt like it was a bit overhyped, in my opinion. Because you always hear, Footloose, Kevin Bacon, you hear all this stuff. And I remember when that movie went off, the original, I was just like, something feels like it's missing. Like, I feel like they did it, like, I felt like there was a lot of plot holes and stuff, and I just felt not very satisfied with it.
There honestly was. I mean, I feel like we didn't get much of obviously, like, the whole story of, like, how those high school students died in a car accident after leaving a dance or a party or whatever the case it was.
Right.
And then we kind of just, like, fast forwarded a couple of years or however long it was, and then it was just like all of a sudden there's these rules,
right,
where we don't dance, we don't dance, we don't do specific things. But this new one really kind of dissected into, like, the whole process of how these laws came to be. And go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to interrupt you.
You're fine, girl. You're fine.
I was just gonna say,
you know more about this than I do anyway, so.
Oh no, that's fine.
Yeah, go ahead.
But we were watching those movies back to back, and then when we had the remake on, we literally all of us, like unanimously, the older people to the younger people,
older generation, younger
everybody was agreeing, like, okay, this movie is a lot better because one, they fill in all the plot holes of the original and they show you backstory. So like Rin, like the main, like the boy character who moves to town, the dancer, it, like, they tell you about like his past, like where he came from, why he moved to town, mom. And they also go into detail of like the girl's family, like her home life, the way that her dad has been ever since her brother, you know, died in the car crash. Like, I just feel like they cover a lot of backstory that just helps.
I really do agree with you on that. I really appreciate they really dove deep into the family of the son that died in an accident, like Julia Huff's character and her parents, and how their process of healing from the death of their son just was like, it just wasn't good, and how there's a better way of dealing with this and going through the emotions and dealing with it in a very like mentally healthy way and we just did not
they don't show you all that.
They do not show you that.
It feels very like almost shallow.
Granted, I will say this, back in that time I feel like a lot of mental health related stuff just was not, either they didn't know it or just wasn't the hot topic.
It wasn't really being addressed.
It wasn't being addressed as like, this is an issue kind of a thing. So that's probably part of why that wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
But I am glad. Can I just say, like, I am not a huge person. Excuse me, a huge person.
I'm not a huge person.
I'm not a huge person. No, I'm not a huge fan of remakes, if I'm going to be completely honest with you.
Honestly, I'm not either.
I'm not. I like
originals.
The originals. Yes. I really do. But I did watch this new one recently, and this one just made more sense.
Yeah.
It helped with the story.
It was a better story.
The dancing was better.
That's what I was going to say too. So like, not even to mention they filled in the plot holes and gave, you know, all the backstory, which was just, it was way deeper and just like a real, it was a more real feeling kind of story. Yeah. I don't know if I worded that right.
We understand.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
But the dancing is actually good.
The dancing is amazing.
Everybody, you can just tell like how they casted the new one. They put actual dancers in there, and they actually showed stuff. A
lot of these characters,
which honestly is so odd to me. Like if you look back, like at the original one, like the whole movie is about dancing, basically.
Right?
Why would you not have dancers? Because I'm sorry. There's only like a few times where you kind of see Kevin Bacon dancing, but it's like,
what are we doing?
And I remember that was like one of the things that I thought like the first time that I saw the movie, because it's like Footloose, it's dancing, right? And I was expecting to see all this stuff,
like, and
I was just left feeling like no,
very let down.
Like where was all the real dancing?
And this is kind of on the Kevin Bacon topic. Like no, like, I don't mean any disrespect or anything like that. I just didn't. I don't understand the obsession over Kevin Bacon.
I don't either. Granted, at that time, I guess, you know.
I wasn't with the girls or the gays when it came to the 1980s, where their obsession was over Kevin Bacon. But looking at like all the movies when he was doing stuff in the 1980s and even to now, I just don't understand the hype. I don't either. Get it.
Like, no offense to the guy.
No offense to the guy. I'm sure he's a wonderful dude.
Yeah, I just don't understand the hype.
I just don't. And his dancing was just not good. In my opinion. You guys can agree with me.
Not, especially if
disagree with me.
If you watch the remake, though, there's like a night and day difference.
Yes, there is a huge difference in the dancing skills.
Yeah.
Huge. Mm-hmm. And we're over here talking about how the first one's like, oh my god, so good. No, girl, it's really not that good compared to the other one.
No.
Nope.
I 100% agree. So I think we both agree and stand together on the fact that the remake of Footloose was actually better.
Yeah, I agree. But also, before we keep going, I want to say something about the wine real quick.
Okay.
I if you take a little sniff.
Take a little sniff.
I really do smell the buttery oaky.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you do not smell
That's a good point.
You do not smell any tart, sweet, nothing.
No.
It is all oaky, buttery smells.
It is.
And then when you taste it,
you get like the fruit and the warmth.
I just wanted to say that because I've been slowly drinking this now. My nose is over the glass.
Yeah.
And I'm smelling. I just want to bring that up.
Right now, my nose is over the glass, and I am smelling.
I am taking a whiff.
Yeah.
No, but I just wanted to point that out. This is good, guys. I do recommend. How much was this? Can I ask that?
Like $4.
Guys, this is $4. And I said this actually in a previous episode. If I see a wine that's like cheap or whatever, I'm honestly really worried. I'm scared. I'm worried to taste it.
Yeah, because it's gonna be cheap or
because
something.
Because I feel like cheap wine, it gives me bad vibes.
It's not good.
Like normally, guys, it's not good.
It really isn't.
But anyway, let's continue.
No, yeah.
Let's continue.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, it is good. This is good, guys. I recommend the Winking Owl
Winky?
the Winky Owl.
The Winky Owl.
Excuse me. The Winking Owl Chardonnay, guys. But anyway, let's continue.
Yeah. So the next movie we wanted to discuss, comparing the original, and this is gonna be a good one.
Okay.
The original to the remake.
I forgot what this one is.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory,
oh.
or Willy Wonka, because I think they're both named.
I have so much I could say on this if I'm being completely honest with you, but. Okay, let me just say
We're both looking at each other like, who goes first? Like, we have stuff to say.
I'm just gonna start. So I've had an argument with my parents, if I'm completely honest with you, about this.
The generation
it's something
above
about the older
us,
generation.
it's because it's nostalgic for them.
That's true. That's true. But so the first Willy Wonka related movie that came out is it called Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? Because the Johnny Depp one is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So maybe the Gene Wilder
which actually
one
makes a lot more sense, because I feel like the original one isn't focused as much on Charlie.
That's actually very true. It focuses more on Willy Wonka, whereas the
at the same time
the Tim Burton one focuses more on Great and his family.
It does, yes.
And how that came to be. But I just want to say, I grew up on the OG one.
Yeah, same.
I did. And I'm going to be real with you guys. As a child, I truly did find the original one kind of disturbing.
Creepy.
It was very creepy.
Yes.
And people are like, oh my god, Tim Burton's creepy, blah, blah, blah. No, girl.
It's not the same.
It is not the same thing.
It is not.
And you can
I just
say what you will. I don't care. But Gene Wilder, there's something about his
vibes.
acting. There's something about his energy and the way he kind of addressed everything that was going on as he was, saying his lines and playing the role and stuff.
It was creepy.
It really was creepy. Like, it almost seemed like he wanted to almost kill all these kids.
Yeah, he seemed like
that
a creep.
Was the vibe.
Like, he didn't seem like that genuinely
was the vibe
liked
I got.
them.
Yeah, whereas the Tim Burton version, Johnny Depp, who played Willy Wonka, it was like, obviously these kids were like getting themselves in trouble, and that's kind of how the story goes. But he didn't give the energy of like, these children are gonna die if they don't quote unquote win the factory.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the first one was way more harrowing in the sense that like, I guess they're gonna die now.
You could literally do a whole horror movie
based on the
original Willy Wonka, and it would make sense.
Yes.
Like, it just would.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know. It's just, I don't know if it's Gene Wilder's acting, and that's just how he did
or
stuff.
Or just the scripting of the whole thing.
Or if it was scripted that way, but he was the most creepiest Willy Wonka.
I agree.
Out of all of them.
And
1,000%.
Something else that I wanted to add to this whole thing is I feel like the situation with Charlie / Willy Wonka Chocolate Factory, I feel like it's very similar to how the Footloose movies went.
Okay.
Whereas I feel like there was also a lot of plot holes in the original.
Okay.
Because at the end, like, there's no backstory to Willy Wonka, so you don't know why the dude is weird and a creep. There's no backstory.
Oh, that's true. That's actually very true. Whereas in the Tim Burton version, we get a story of how he got the Oompa Loompas.
Yeah, they show him like as a kid and why he left home and just like everything. They show his whole backstory.
What is with that though? It seems like the newer versions of these movies, they actually dissect the characters more.
Here's my thing.
Okay.
With remakes.
Yeah.
Is I feel like in current times, remakes aren't as good because they're almost trying to like overly remake it, like change a lot of aspects of the story. Whereas I feel like a little bit earlier on, like the mid 2000s, when they were remaking stuff, they were actually just genuinely trying to improve upon the story.
Right. They were sticking to the story, but giving us more of an idea of why this character, this person came to be the way they are.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's why I feel like some of these remakes are better.
Yeah.
And they still could be to this day if they still just kept the integrity of the story and then just kind of filled in the gaps. Which I feel like these movies did.
Right.
So like
I can get on board with that.
So like for the the remake of Willy Wonka, for example, you know, like we said, they go into his past and so you understand his character better, which makes him seem less creepy, I feel like, because you understand where he came from. And then also like they show at the very end that the kids didn't die. Like, it shows them coming out of the factory.
Yeah, like, they're a little effed up. But
yeah, they have issues. But they're still not, you see them coming out and everything.
It was more of like a... With Johnny Depp's Willy Wonka, it's more of like a I told you, and you didn't listen,
right? And this is what
happened to you. Whereas like with Gene Wilder, it was just, like, he's drowning in chocolate.
That's
it's fine.
And you don't see anything else after that. Right. Like you don't know what happened to the kids.
For all you know, that dude drowned in chocolate or was eaten by people because he was in the chocolate.
Right? Like you don't know,
which is like horrific. Like that's horror material, people.
And that's why the movie, I feel like, has creepy vibes because weird stuff happens and they don't tell you what happens after that.
And this is the thing, I want to say this too real quick because we, like, both you and I have both watched like the OG movies, okay? Right. We are not like being biased because we're a specific generation or anything. We grew up on watching both movies.
Yes.
So this is our full-blown like opinion
just genuine
opinion on the stuff. I just want to say
that. Yeah, for sure.
But anyway.
But the other thing that I wanted to mention is, you know, obviously in the new one they go more into Charlie's story too.
Right, that's true.
Which I like the way the remake ends is so much better than the original in my opinion, because the very end of the original is just like, you know, Willy Wonka being like, Charlie, you won, you're the last kid standing and all this stuff, and like, oh, let's get your family, like, and then I don't know, I just feel like the ending is lacking, whereas the ending of the new one, it shows all the family together in the factory having a nice meal with Willy Wonka.
True.
Like it just like it shows you like everybody ended up okay, everybody's happy, they're better off. Like it just has a better closure.
I agree on that a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, Lord, it's just like I don't know. I don't know. I really do. I just appreciate the Tim Burton one a lot more.
I do too.
I don't know.
For many reasons. And I think there's more like comedy in it too. Because I remember, you know, like as a kid watching the original one and honestly just being a little sketched out and kind of scared the whole time.
Tori,
whereas throughout the whole new one, there's funny lines that like my family will quote to this day. Like it's more entertaining, it's more funny, it's lighter.
And also, can I just say, I prefer Gene Wilder over Johnny Depp any day of the week.
I mean, yeah, he's a classic
he is great.
Actor.
Everything he does is just so good. I'm a huge Johnny Depp fan, personally.
There are things about the original that honestly I would say I do like a little bit better. There's just a few aspects. Like,
do you want to share those?
Because like Gene Wilder, he would actually sing in the movie.
Oh, so it was giving almost like a musical kind of vibe,
which they didn't stick to in the remake. True. Which I thought was kind of nice.
I mean, personally, on my side of things, I could take or leave it. Personally, but for you, that's obviously different. So I get that. I mean, it just shows his talent and stuff more. That's true. Things like that. That he actually sang and stuff in the original, and then also there's just a few random things about the first one that, like, my child imagination, just went places. Come with
is
me.
Like right. Sorry. Is like do you remember in the first one, which they didn't use in the second one, is when they're walking through that hallway and like the wallpaper, they can actually taste.
Oh, snozberries.
Right.
I've heard of snozberries. Right, yeah.
Like, you could actually, like, taste
Apparently
the wallpaper.
Could taste the wallpaper. Wait, they couldn't do that in the original
They
one?
They didn't do that scene.
Oh, man. I don't know.
So there's just a few things like that was just fun for, the childhood imagination.
Right,
and just different things that they could eat and, when they're in that first, like, candy room and stuff in the original that they didn't use in the remake. That I just personally liked, but honestly, like, that's pretty much it. Oh, and then there's that weird scene in the original that they did not put in the remake, and I'm honestly glad they didn't. Was the one where they were like,
you lose
the bubbles? Oh, they're like, they could eat the bubbles, and then they're like burping, floating. And then they could float. That whole scene honestly scared.
Because, hey guys, this is what I'm saying. It's like a whole horror house.
It's trippy.
It's not just trippy, but like this dude, I'm telling you, like they wrote this in the Lucy. They wrote this whole thing where it's like these kids could have died. Mm-hmm. In the OG one. It was
actually dangerous.
Yes! Like, can you imagine what would happen to them? Like, you could seriously, I'm telling you right now, someone might do this in the near future. They're gonna rewrite this, like, they're gonna rewrite
Willy Wonka's gonna be a freaking serial killer, man.
It's gonna be a whole horror story. She heard something up there, I'm telling you. I think it was probably the air.
Our voices are raising.
Oh.
I think we're amping her up a little bit.
But anyway, so it's just like, yeah, so excuse us, guys, if she keeps barking. We can also edit it out. But I feel like this could really turn into like a horror.
It could.
It really could. You could literally make like, and this is like me going way outside the box, but like you could turn it into like a whole horror game.
Oh yeah. They really could. There's a lot you could do with that.
They're gonna get cut up in the blades because they're floating up and they can't control themselves.
Right.
So you know what? Just Godspeed.
Right, right. It could be bad.
But anyway.
But yeah.
So
let's move on to the next.
Yeah, let's move on to the next
movie.
What's the next one?
Yeah, so the next one is Beauty and the Beast.
Oof, girl.
Which there's a lot of, Disney animated movies that they have remade into like live action.
And it's kind of controversial
like it's
in a way.
It's hard to compare them.
Right,
because we're basically comparing
animation to reality, quote unquote.
A live action.
Live action.
Yes. Yeah. So for that reason it's hard to compare them, and it's complicated because here's where, so when it came to the first two movies that we talked about, hands down, I probably won't watch the originals again, really.
Okay.
I would probably just watch the remakes because I just think they're that much better.
Sure.
But when it comes to Beauty and the Beast, since it is like an animation versus live action,
right,
I can personally watch both and thoroughly enjoy both.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think they're both solid.
I think they're both really, really good.
Both of them.
I enjoyed both.
But I feel like they did kind of the same thing with the remake, where they were kind of filling in some gaps and showing you backstory to characters that was not shown in the original animation. Yeah, that's true. Like they showed, like the Beast and his family when he was a kid. That's true. That whole scene gets me. And then one of my favorite songs / scenes in the remake, the live action Beauty and the Beast,
are you thinking
is when she's leaving.
Yep, that's Evermore.
Yeah.
That song is so beautiful.
It's so good.
It's such a
the music in that movie, all the songs, like,
I agree. It's really good.
It's so good.
Yeah. I think, like, and there's, I don't know how to really word this, but there's something about the story of the prince kind of just, like, I feel like we get a whole other, like, side of him emotion-wise. If that makes sense.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because they don't
which we
show that.
didn't get.
Because he just seems like an angry guy in the original.
And I feel like in the live action one, even though we do have those moments,
right,
we do get like an understanding of why he's kind of like that.
Exactly.
So that's just kind of my thing on that. So I don't know.
I agree.
It's just that it's really cool. I think it's great. The song is beautiful. The man who voices the Beast
it's
and
amazing.
Like the song, brilliant. I feel like to a degree people kind of on the movie, if I'm gonna be honest.
You think so?
I do think so. I mean, a lot of people are kind of hard on anything live action, quote unquote live action
that they took from animation.
That they take, well, not just animation, but anything like Disney related, which I do understand. I do agree. I do agree with that on a few movies.
Lot.
But the Beauty and the Beast one specifically,
yes,
I thought was brilliant.
Yes, I really did. Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm just gonna say it.
I honestly, I don't like a lot of the live action remakes that Disney has made because I feel like in these days,
for me personally, was kind of rough.
I feel like Disney has been slaughtering things in recent times.
Unfortunately,
but I will say, Beauty and the Beast for me is my favorite, and I think the best live action that Disney has done.
I have to agree with you, honestly. Because
they kept to the integrity of it.
Yes.
They just, filled in some plot holes, gave you some background story. The music was amazing.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people I know kind of all over Emma Watson with singing wise. I don't even care. I really don't care.
I don't think she was bad.
No, and you can make the argument like, well, they did stuff with her voice and blah blah blah. I don't care. I really don't care because
it turned out good. It was a good movie.
Right. My main worry with stuff like this is you stick to the story, and if you want to add backstory and stuff like that, that stuff is good too.
Yeah.
Going back to Footloose and Cha and Cha Factory and all that stuff. You know, it's just. Excuse me. To me, it was very well done. I saw it in the theaters, I think, like 3 times. I loved it,
good.
Personally.
Me
it was
too.
Really good. That might be an unpopular opinion. I don't know. And I don't give a flying
Yeah. But, one thing that I will say that I feel like these movies differ from the first 2 that we talked about is that I do love both versions.
Yeah.
And I think both versions are solid. I just think they definitely added stuff to the remake that did it justice. Like telling you about the Beast's backstory and just all that stuff, But anyway. Is
there another one we wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I think there is.
Tori has the notes, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
just going with the flow,
we have one more if you want to discuss one more
that's fine.
movie. It's Parent Trap.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Which I actually feel very similarly.
Yes.
Because I like both.
Oh, same here. I know, so the original one, Disney, obviously, but it was, what was the actress's name that played the 2 twin roles?
It was like the Pollyanna girl.
Yes. I don't remember her name. And it's okay if we don't know.
She's British.
Okay.
Gosh, I'm so mad that I'm drawing a blank right now. I'm gonna look it up because
I was gonna say we can look that up real quick, but I just want to say she was great.
Yes,
absolutely amazing. Everything that she's been in with Disney.
I mean, everything she's done is good. She was a good kid actress, I should say. Yeah. Hayley Mills. That's what it is.
Okay.
Yes, Hayley Mills. I think the original is solid. I literally have no complaints about it. And obviously it was more of like a musical type thing as well.
That's true. It was. You're right.
And just all the actors in that were solid. I literally have no complaints about the original.
Right. I don't really either.
I just wanted to say, at least for me, in many ways, I feel like the remake is more nostalgic for me because that's the one that I actually grew up on.
Right.
We're
of a different generation anyway.
I definitely watched the original Parent Trap some when I was a kid and stuff, but ultimately the remake came out like when we were little and everything. So that's the one that I really grew up on. And so it's very nostalgic to me. Mm-hmm. You know, Lindsay Lohan. You know,
queen.
As a little kid, she did really well.
So good.
And just like
so good.
You know, the different like booby traps that they set.
Oh
like,
yes.
All those different things.
They were
like
definitely
pranks,
more modernized.
Like, yeah,
and I was living for it.
I was all about
I'm glad.
that. And like their handshake that they had.
Yes. I forgot about that. We gotta learn that.
Yeah, I've always wanted to.
We should learn it. Mm-hmm. But no, yeah, I mean, I and another thing about these like remakes and stuff, they do tend to modernize things, and I actually really do appreciate that stuff. And
I feel like a lot of the time, it depends on the movie. Obviously, if it's more of a drama, then they don't necessarily do this. But when it comes to some of these, like I mentioned this with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and then I feel like it's the same with Parent Trap. Like the remakes, I feel like they put more comedy in it. Oh yeah, you know what I'm saying?
They definitely do.
Which I always can appreciate.
Man, oh my gosh, I kind of want to watch this. I want to watch the Lindsay Lohan Parent Trap now.
Okay. We can. I think I own it.
Do you have? I was gonna say, do you have it?
Yes, I do.
All right, we should watch after this.
Okay. I'm down for it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I definitely own it. But do you want to say anything else about that movie, or we're pretty much set? Where like you agree, like they're both good. I wouldn't throw out either one.
I feel like the new one. The Lindsay Lohan one actually did give us more. What is with that though? It seems like the older ones don't give us that much content.
It's a little bit more like basic and simple. Right. I mean, I love the movies. Like I have nothing against it. It's just I feel like when they do remake in more modern times, I feel like they just put a little bit more depth into the story.
Yep.
I don't know.
I agree with that one.
But
100%.
Would you like to transition now?
Yeah, let's go ahead and transition. We're gonna go into our trivia segment, guys. Let's just do it.
Woohoo!
All right, woohoo! All right, so we were actually gonna change it up a little bit. we I don't even know how we would start this.
We've covered a lot of trivia type topics, and we just wanted to mix it up a little bit so that we're not being too repetitive.
We did. So I'm just going to say this. Tori and I are both dog lovers.
I literally have my puppy in my lap right
Lucy
now.
right now is in her lap right now. They're just chilling. But we kind of wanted to go into the whole the specific breeds and where they actually came from, because we made a list of 5, and I want to see, because I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Yeah. But I want to kind of guess to see where these specific breeds of dogs came from. Yeah. Like country-wise. Right. Where'd they come from? So the first one we're going to talk about is Beagle.
Ooh, a Beagle.
And I personally, and I think Aaron, actually, your brother had a Beagle. I had a Beagle as well.
Yeah, we had a Beagle.
But the first thing that comes to mind is that Beagle is a hunting dog. Right. Rabbits. They basically hunt rabbits.
Yeah, like kind of smaller
rodents. Yeah, whatever.
And I think they actually use beagles for like coon hunting, like raccoons and stuff like that too.
I didn't know that.
Like there's different types of beagles, and some are used as like treeing dogs, where they basically chase something up a tree, so then the hunter can shoot it.
All right. So, Beagles is the first one. Part of me, I have 2 specific places I think the Beagle came from. Okay. The first one that popped in my head is England.
That's what I was thinking too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I was thinking England. If
somewhere
it's not,
in Europe.
If it's not, then maybe America. If not America,
it's
then I'm
possible
because
it is. Beagles have been used a lot in America, but the U.S. is a newer country. You know?
Yeah, it's true.
So, and I feel like there's a lot of hunting that they've done traditionally in England. So I feel like that would be
I'm personally gonna stick with England.
Yeah, I think that's a good guess.
Yeah. So let's see. Okay, so we're correct. The Beagle Dog breed originated in Great Britain in the 1830s.
Okay.
But its history dates back even farther. Beagles are thought to be descended from hounds. Duh,
it's a hound.
Like, are you shitting me right now? Like, obviously it's a hound. Used by hunters in packs in England, Wales, and France.
Okay.
As in the early 1400s.
Wow.
So this goes way back, honey.
Right.
These small hounds are popular in the Middle Ages for hunting hares and foxes. So rabbits and foxes.
Right, okay.
Let's see if there's anything else that's interesting. Nope, that's pretty much it. So dogs originated from United Kingdom, England, Great Britain.
Blah, 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 blah.
That area.
Right.
Awesome. All right, so the next one is a lab.
Honestly, I feel like this could end up getting a little boring, but I would say England with labs too.
Okay, well this I actually wanted to bring this up because there are actually two different types of labs.
There are.
There's the American lab versus the British or
English
lab.
Yeah.
Which there is a difference.
There is.
I'm telling you, I have met both types of labs.
Oh, same. They are different. The English ones are typically like shorter. Honestly, I think
they're more broad.
I think American labs are way prettier.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't like the English.
See, I actually disagree with you on that. I think an English lab is
really
prettier. Yeah.
I like the American ones.
I'm not, but also at the same time, I'm not a huge lab person.
Yeah.
I really don't like labs.
I feel like they're good dogs, but it's just like
it's just
so
such
basic.
It's
like everybody gets labs. Like no offense to anybody who has I have a lab mix.
Right, true.
Like it's a common dog, but I just, like to be a little bit more different.
No, I understand. I'm not a huge lab dog, guys, but if you have a lab dog, I'm gonna love your dog.
It's fine. Okay. No, they're not. They're good dogs. They're good dogs.
Right, yeah.
But we're thinking about like the original. So just look up.
And what did you say?
I said England.
Okay. So a Labrador Retriever originated in the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
Labrador Retrievers breed of sporting dog that originated in Newfoundland.
Okay.
And was brought to England by fishermen about 1800. That is not proper grammar, but
they originated in
Newfoundland.
Newfoundland.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It was brought to England by fishermen, which I did not know that. That's really interesting. Yeah. Really, really interesting stuff. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and keep going.
Yeah.
Jack Russells.
Which I have right here in my lab.
Yes, you do.
I have a little...
You do.
Jack Russell.
Yes, you do. I'm pretty sure this one actually... I love how these are all Britons. Britons.
I will actually,
Britons.
I'm going to differ with you there.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We're going to disagree.
I could be wrong.
Okay.
I could be very wrong, but I want to go out on a limb here and say that I feel like Jack Russells could have come from, like, Scotland.
Oh, okay. We're being very specific. Okay. So, I'm correct. It's actually also United Kingdom.
Is it?
Yep. Jack Russell Terriers originated in England. Jack Russell's breed of terrier developed in England in the 19th century for hunting foxes both above and below ground. Wait, foxes above and below ground? What does that mean? Do foxes just live underground, I guess?
Yeah, they live in, like, dens.
Okay. So, it was named for the REV. Is that Reverend? Wait, what does that mean? REV. What does that represent? What does that say?
Reverend.
Reverend? Okay, I was right. For the Reverend John Russell.
Oh.
Who was an avid hunter who created the breed.
Interesting.
Wow.
Okay.
So, okay, wow. I mean, yeah, that's a whole thing we, I guess, could get into.
So they are...
I have a lot of questions on that.
It's England specifically?
It's England, yep.
Oh.
United Kingdom, England.
So I guess I was wrong, but I don't know, I just got some kind of vibe, because I know, like, Scotland, like, they've done a lot of, like, hunting and...
That's true. God, all of the lists of dogs that we have, watch them all be England.
I know, seriously. Oh my gosh.
Watch them all be, England. Okay, so the next one is greyhounds.
Okay, no. That's an ancient dog. Ancient?
Okay. I know nothing about
I could be wrong, but just based on, like, old, like, Egyptian type stuff.
Oh, good point.
I think greyhounds go back.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. I mean, I love a greyhound. I have actually 2 friends that have greyhounds, and they're so beautiful, and they're so sweet.
I know a lot of people.
They are fast.
Oh, yeah.
Can I just say?
They
run insanely fast.
They're like the fastest dogs.
We actually were looking at videos one time with Kyle.
Uh-huh.
And we were looking at these YouTube videos of the racing dogs, and one of them was a greyhound, and that thing was so fast. It was kind of insane.
I love those dogs so much. I know some people don't because they think they look weird or something, but I don't know. I think they're cool.
I think they're cool too. I really do. So, excuse me. So, are we gonna... I can get down on...
I mean, I'm gonna go back. I feel like they're an ancient breed, to be honest.
Yeah. I can get on board with that. So, do you want to do, like, Egypt?
That's what I'm gonna say.
Let's just do it. Let's see what happens, guys. Alright, we're gonna look this up real quick. Alright. So, the exact origin of greyhounds are uncertain, but they are one of the oldest dog breeds.
See, that's what I was thinking.
And may date back thousands of years.
Right, because you see all those pictures of, like, Egyptian, what is it called?
Wow. Sorry, I'm reading.
No, you're good.
So some evidence suggests that greyhounds, like dogs, were presented in the Middle East as early as 7,000 years ago and may have originated in the tens of nomadic peoples. I don't even know what nomadic peoples is. That's the whole thing we probably could get into.
It's like ancient.
Other evidence suggests that greyhounds may have originated in ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
See, that's what I was thinking.
I can totally get on board with that. Where they were used by the pharaohs to hunt and capture desert wildlife.
Huh. Interesting.
Depictions of greyhounds like dogs have been found in Egypt tombs. Okay. Alright, guys, so we're gonna go ahead and actually get into our next segment. We've been talking about, like, movies and stuff that we kind of grew up on, and, like, the OGs versus the remakes and stuff. But something that we kind of wanted to get into is movies that we have watched that we kind of have, like, some hardcore memories of.
Yeah, like the first time we saw...
The first time we saw, like, specific movies, like, Parent Trap and stuff. Because, like, when those movies came out, girl, we were, like, all on that You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And we were little, this is nostalgic.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yes.
We're like, oh my gosh.
Like, imagine, because I feel like, no offense, but I feel like they just don't make new movies now the same way that they used to.
Mm-mm. They just don't. And just
even the hype over, like, going to a movie theater or seeing a movie for the first time at a friend's house. Like, I don't know. I just feel like they're not creating the same kind of content that we grew up on. So I feel like a lot of kids growing up in these days, like, they probably don't have the same type of experiences with, movies that we had.
It's true.
One of the strongest memories that I have of, seeing a movie for the first time, and there's many. Obviously, we all have, the first time you watched anything, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But this one... She wants some wine.
She does want some wine. Want some wine, girl?
It smells good.
Smells good. I'm holding her. Did we already address that?
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. But
Go ahead, sorry.
But anyway, so one memory that particularly stands out in my mind is the first time that I saw Shrek.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember the first time you saw Shrek?
Honestly, no. I mean, it's been a long.
I mean, you're a little bit younger than me, so at this time,
I was a lot younger than you when we were kids
and everything. Right. And it makes a difference on memory and things like that.
That's true.
But the first time that I saw it was at one of my really good friends from school at the time, her 7th birthday party.
Okay.
And she had this whole slumber party planned out.
Was it Shrek themed?
It wasn't Shrek themed. It was just your typical, girl slumber party where we were doing all the things, and then just when we were going to bed at night, we watched Shrek before we went to sleep.
Yeah.
And she, I grew up in a smaller house. Like, my family wasn't, that well off or whatever.
Okay.
And there was 5 of us, 5 kids, whatever. So I was just used to a more crowded, smaller house with not a lot of extra space.
Right.
And this one friend that I'm talking about, she lived, in your typical nice, 2-story house. Okay. And they only had, 2 kids. And they were majorly spaced out in age.
Okay.
So I feel like my friend could have been, an accident baby, basically.
That's possible.
Because her parents were older than mine.
Right.
And her she literally had one older sister who was a teenager.
Okay.
And we were, kids, 7 years old. So, basically she grew up in this big house, essentially on her own in a way, kind of an only child, but not. And they had, this big bonus room. They just had all these things. Okay, they had, a huge netted trampoline,
Oh!
They had, all the things.
I didn't have no netted trampoline.
So I loved going to her house,
Right.
And so she had this sleepover for her 7th birthday. And, we were playing, doing all the things, and then, winding down for the night. We all had, our, sleeping bags. We were all cuddly up there in their bonus room. It was, a big room, big TV, which for me was, a big deal.
Okay.
And we turn on Shrek because it had just came out on DVD.
Iconic.
And I hadn't seen it yet. So the very first time I saw it was at this sleepover for my friend's 7th birthday. We're all, warm, comfy in our little sleeping bags.
Right.
And we're watching it. And it's just a nice, warm memory for me. And it was just funny. We're laughing. We're cracking up. I thought it was hilarious.
Movie. If you don't like Shrek, something's wrong with you.
Right. To this day, I love watching it.
Y'all, we're in 2024, and we still love this movie. Mm-hmm. DreamWorks is, I don't even know. They make some good stuff. DreamWorks is just great.
Mm-hmm.
But, so, for my story, I was going to actually bring up the movie Avengers. And I know you're not a huge Avengers person, but...
Yeah. I mean, I've seen some, but,
I know, and I feel like I can get on board with it. Yeah. But for me, I grew up on that. I was God, how... Okay, so the first Avengers, specifically the first Avenger movie came out in 2012. So I'd been 15. And I was a huge fan. And I wanted to go see the first Avengers movie with my father.
Okay.
And so he took me, and we got some popcorn.
Right.
The typical things you would get when you go to a movie.
Right. Oh my gosh, that reminds me of another story.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay, right. Anyway, sorry.
It's all good, you're fine. So we went to the theater, and we got our popcorn, and I got this Mountain Dew. Okay. It was a big one.
Right.
But the thing is we arrived a little late.
Okay.
So I was kind of scrambling, trying to get everything that I was going to have at the theater, go in and stuff. But I had to pee.
Okay.
Bad.
But you were late for the movie.
I was late for the movie, and I was I can't miss this movie.
Right.
This movie was so important to me. I was so serious. I was a huge fan. You don't even understand.
Right.
I love Marvel to this day. But I was I just can't miss this,
Right.
It was just no, it just wasn't happening.
Right.
So I told my dad, I was I have to pee. And he's like, well, just go to the bathroom. I was I can't do it. But my dumbass was I'm going to drink this whole Mountain Dew.
Right.
While I already have to pee.
Right.
Y'all, this movie, if you don't know Avengers, then whatever, but the first Avenger movie is well over 2 hours. right?
Okay, right.
So I'm sitting there with a full bladder.
Oh.
Having to pee.
While you're drinking Mountain Dew.
While I'm drinking Mountain Dew. And I was in pain, girl. I was in pain, but I did not care because I was taking one for the team, y'all. Like I am a big fan, and if that does not speak volumes,
right?
Listen, y'all, I'm telling you, like I deserve a reward.
A medal.
I deserve a reward from Marvel, y'all. So so by the end of the movie, I'm like raised in the bathroom. I pee. But a few days later, you guys. I went home. A few days later, I couldn't pee.
Oh no!
I had some type of issue go down, and I could not pee, and I freaked out because it was my first time ever experiencing this.
Right.
So I told my mom, I told my dad, I was like, "Oh my god, I can't pee out. What's going on? It hurts. It stings. Blah 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 blah." You know what? Your girl went to the doctor, and I had a bladder infection.
No.
Because my ass would not... Because you
held it in that whole time.
Because I had to watch the whole movie.
Right.
And I could not... I refused to pee. I'm telling you right now, I honestly probably should have just...
It's a learning lesson,
It is a learning lesson, but I'm telling you right now, I probably should have just, like, dumped the Mountain Dew out on the floor and then just, like, peed in the cup.
Into the cup,
Absolutely,
right.
Girl. I'm not even kidding. I would do that to this day.
To not miss a movie?
To not miss it. I would do it very privately, obviously.
Right.
But, like, if I had that as an option, I would totally do it. But I didn't. And so I ended up having to go to the hospital. And I had a bladder infection, and I had to get antibiotics and the whole 9 yards.
Wow.
But yeah. Okay. So, Marvel, you heard it here.
Yes.
But yeah, anyway.
So you reminded me when you were talking about, like, you know, going to the theater with your dad and, like, being excited about a movie and all this stuff, right? So just before we close out, like, I almost wanted to share this other story that I had, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So I was little, and, you know, keep in mind, when you grow up with a big family, with a lot of siblings, it's kind of rare.
You should just pull my beard hair.
Lucy.
It hurt.
But anyway, it's kind of rare that you get, like, one-on-one time with a parent.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Because they're very, you know, busy. They're very busy people. They had 5 kids, different ages.
Yeah,
like,
they're working.
Exactly, working. So, like, you know, there's just not that many times that you get one-on-one time with one of your parents when you have a big family.
Right.
And so there were a few times where, you know, my mom or my dad would go out of their way to have, you know, kind of like a little date with one of us, just one of us, you know. My dad would do
like
that.
Like a little daddy-daughter date kind of thing.
Or like my mom would do that too.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, they both would try to kind of go out of their way to be like, you know, I'm going to take Aaron out tonight. Or I'm going to take, you know, Victoria out. Like, you know. So they try, and I respect them a lot for that, because it had to have been hard, like with 5 kids, you know, take time just to take one of your kids out or whatever. So
how busy your life can be.
Right, exactly. So there was this one time I was really little. I had to have, like, maybe been 5.
Oh gosh, we're going that far back.
Maybe 5. Yeah, okay. I was really young, and my mom wanted to take me to the movie theater, like just me and her.
Okay.
And I don't know if you remember this at all, but Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Ooh, no, I don't.
Which was like kind of a whole thing, because in our town we had kind of an amusement type, kind of like Chuck E. Cheese.
Okay.
Where there's like an arcade and slides.
Mind you, I was 2 years old when that came out, so.
Yeah, you were really young.
Yeah.
But we had a place in our town like Chuck E. Cheese, but it was called Bullwinkles, and it was those specific characters that it was all like kind of centered around.
Right.
And so, you know, I'm 5 and there's a Rocky and Bullwinkle movie coming out. So like I was really excited. My mom was like, "Yeah, this is a good movie that I could take her to, whatever." So we go to see the Rocky and Bullwinkle movie, and I don't know what it was about it, but it scared the living daylights.
Did it really?
Yes, it scared the living daylights out of me. and I'm in there, and I feel so bad because I knew, even as young as I was, that my mom was like, you know, taking the time to take me out specifically, and I was so excited for it. And then here we're all watching it, and I'm scared.
Right. And then you're probably like, oh, I want my mom to be like happy that I she's drinking my wine. Do you like it? Does it taste good?
Oh my gosh, Caleb.
She did drink some of it.
Don't let her have too much.
Right? You don't want a drunk dog.
Right. But anyway, we're sidetracking.
Yeah, sorry.
So yeah, like, you know, all these things.
Anymore.
You can get a new glass.
It's all good.
Anyway, so all these things are going through my mind, even though I was young. I'm just like, you know, she went out of her way. I was excited for it and all this stuff.
Right.
But it's scary. I was so afraid of it.
Right.
And I held off as long as I could, but I basically ended up crying. And my mom, like, we ended up leaving before the movie ended. We had to leave the theater. Yeah.
Oh no.
And I felt so bad.
I'm sure Aunt Tara was understanding.
No, I mean, I was little.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, you can't really predict what kind of stuff is going to scare a kid, you know.
Right.
But just something about it was just giving me bad vibes, and I was scared.
Right.
But anyway, that's basically my story.
No, I mean, I feel like that's a typical thing that happens at times, but no, it's all right. No, that's crazy though.
Yeah. But yeah.
Anyway, guys, we're gonna close it up. We're getting to that time, you guys. But I just wanted to say this real quick. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. If anyone is interested, please check out our store. We do have some merch on there.
Mm-hmm. On Etsy.
On Etsy, that's right. Yeah. If you guys just look Uncork and Listen, the link is also in our description below, guys. You will be able to see that. We are also on Instagram. Just search us up on Uncork and Listen. If any of you guys would like to give us a follow on there, we would definitely appreciate it. Also, if you did enjoy this episode, guys, please give us a like. If you're listening on YouTube, Spotify, like whatever the case may be, we would appreciate it, guys. But anyway, thank you guys so much for joining. We'll see y'all next time.
Awesome. See ya.
All right, guys. Bye.